Frances Laracy lives in Conception Harbour on the Avalon Peninsula. She is the past provincial president of the Women's Institute. She is also the member for Conception Bay Centre on the Provincial Catholic Education Council.
Well, I was born in Avondale. It's about the next community to Conception Harbour. I was one of the 9 children, 5 girls and 4 boys. I grew up and got my early education there in a one-room school. Well, I went to work at Kennedy's store in Avondale, and I worked there for 3 years till I got married. I got married and moved to Conception Harbour in 1937. That's over 50 years ago. I had 6 children, I guess, in the first, in about 12 years. We started the business in 1943. We started in one room in this house. Well, my husband and I did it between us, and I did all the selling, because I was the only employee at the time. And my husband did the buying. Oh, I like to collect older things that that tell the history of our community and how our parents lived and our grandparents, and to tell my children and grandchildren how I lived, you know, things I used when I raised my family. And I have all those things. And I think they're important for young people to see, because if I told my grandchildren that I heated an iron on the stove to iron my clothes, and I washed my clothes for my family in a washing tub and scrubbed it on a board, well, unless I have those things to show them, they probably won't believe me, you know. I think it's a great part of education, another area of education. When you have those things, it's our history, it's our culture. And I believe in preserving them anyway. Some people seem to get by quite well without being involved in the community, but personally, I wouldn't be able to live that way. I don't know how anybody can just live in the community without being involved in things that are going on, and doing what they can to improve it in any way they can. Looking back, I started immediately. First year I was married. We used to have an annual garden party, and the first year I was married, I went to work on the table serving dinners. They used to have outdoor dinners in those days, and that was in 1937, and I've been, I think, with very few exceptions, I've been to every garden party since. From then on, I got involved in lots of things. You know, I was campaign manager for the Red Cross, the Christmas Eve campaign, when they started that in this area, and involved in different organizations, church organizations, and one particular organization was the Women's Institute, like a member of that in 1967. That was a period when the executive director was expanding to rural areas, and I was in the process of making it more elected people, you know, more rural. So she came out to a meeting at Conception Harbour, and we had a young president and a young secretary, and they were teachers, you know, they were very well-educated people. And so the next time they had a meeting in St. John's, she sent out to Conception Harbour to send a member in to represent this community on the provincial board. I suppose she thought she'd get one of those young, smart people, you know, but my branch felt differently about it. They elected me to go into St. John's and represent them on the board. In our local branch, I think I've held every position there is, and I was provincial president in 1983, And as provincial president, I was a council member for the international organization. I'm still a second council member for the international organization, Associated Countrywomen of the World. And before I became provincial president, I served on the national executive for 4 years in Ottawa, the Federated Women's Institutes of Canada. I was a member of our own local education committee. Then I was elected to the Conception Bay Centre School Board, and they in turn elected me to be their representative on the Catholic Education Council, which is an association of Catholic school boards. Well, it's the council that looks after the affairs of all Catholic schools. I think to be able to do a good job of anything, you have to start in at the grassroots and learn from there. You know, you can't just go in, get on a national committee or a provincial committee unless you know what's happening at the local level first. You get to know people and working with people. If you do a good job at local level, this certainly qualifies you to go on to do greater things, greater heights. I don't know, heights, but broader. Well, last year, in 1987, I won the President's Award, which is an award given to 5 women annually across Canada for their work in women's organizations. Well, I was definitely very surprised when I got a call from Barbara McDougall's office telling me, well, I couldn't really believe it because, you know, to be chosen out of 5 from all across Canada, you know, it was a big honor. I thought it was. I thought it was, a big honor for me and for my community and for Newfoundland as well. With the help of my husband and my children, everybody had different chores to do and everybody did their share. So we managed to get it done between us all. And sometimes I think my family were disgusted when they come home for a meal and there'd be nothing cooked. Well, where's Mom? She's gone to another meeting. But I think they understood, you know, they supported me. Well, I think anybody who can manage a home, look after solve problems, family disputes, and budget, certainly can, if she's capable of, if does a good job of that, to the best of her ability, she certainly can do major things outside the home as well, you know. It's really good experience, I think. I'm really disappointed there are not more people in politics because there's lots of good women, but I don't know why it is. It seems that, well, women make up 52% of the voters, so you think there'd be lots of women in politics, but it doesn't really happen that way, and I think it must be that women don't really support other women like they should. Well, I think women can really do a good job of anything they want to do. They want to be leaders in Parliament, anything, any area. No limit what they can do. That's the way I feel about it. Sky's the limit. Your feet on the ground. My message to them is choose something you want to do because you like to do it, not something that's traditional or something that everybody else is doing. But if you want to do something, go ahead and do it. Take a chance. Doesn't matter what it is. And if you make a mistake, fine. It's by mistakes we learn. I would say go for it.